So what? Because I mean, I saw the interview. I think I saw most of it, and you seem agnostic. I mean, I can imagine why. I can imagine why Bob would think you may have been a Muslim because you look like Asian.
Brown. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that not your background then?
No, I was brought up Muslim, but I had my own.
You're agnostic.
I guess so.
Yeah. So what? Could you share briefly what is your story? So you were brought up, but you left then.
No, I didn't leave. My parents didn't really. I wasn't really religious in a religious household. So.
Were they like just cultural Muslims?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah. So what did you think about Christianity after you? Because it's been a month, maybe, or a few weeks now.
A few weeks. Yeah. To be honest, I'm not being bad. I'm going to be really honest.
That's fine.
I have yet to meet like an objective Christian because unfortunately Bob gave me loads of analogies and I kind of wanted not analogies. I wanted him to be more objective than subjective.
So okay.
It made it hard for me to understand because I'm coming from an objective perspective. So if you always give me subjective stuff, I can't understand.
I'm taking some pictures of you.
No, it's fine.
So can you? I don't know if I can answer because I'm not a scholar and I probably know less than Bob, but I do have a different theology than him on some ways.
Okay,
Yeah. But I mean, we don't have to go into it now. But you know, in any kind of belief system, you have different beliefs, right? You don't have. But what is it? Can I see if I can answer?
Okay, sure.
What questions would you have about Christianity, for example?
I think one of the major one is the 3-in-1.
Okay.
I struggle to understand that from an objective perspective.
Yeah.
And it's not helpful. Like I remember I was speaking to one Christian and they said, don't use your mind, go with your heart. And I was like, it's really difficult for me not to use my mind, if that makes sense, because we ask questions from here, isn't it? So yeah, that will probably be the biggest thing. Is that how to understand the 3-in-1? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
With all due respect, I'm really respectful. I'm just asking questions. That one, and also I think I read somewhere. I need to look more into it. But
Should we tackle one thing at a time?
okay, sure.
Yeah. Would you say you are 3-in-1?
Am I 3-in-1?
Yeah.
No, I'm just one person.
But you have 3 aspects of you.
Oh, my mind, body, and soul.
Yeah. Did he say that to you?
Yeah, he said that to me.
No, you're Christian?
Yeah, I can help you find that text.
Okay. It's in Thessalonians. So he said that to you.
Yeah.
So that's because we're made in God's image. So, you know, would you say that your body is separated from your soul?
My body is separate from my soul.
Do you acknowledge that you have a soul and a mind?
Yeah.
But they're a part of you?
Yes, but I don't believe that I'm like the creator.
Huh?
I don't believe that because I'm like that. And I'm
So where does your humanity come from anyway? Where does your humanity come from then?
just my understanding.
So do you, I mean, just to go a few steps backwards, do you believe in God?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you believe in evolution by any chance?
No.
Okay, that's good. So this is one thing me and Bob differ. He's a theistic evolutionary, I'm not. So yeah. So you don't believe in evolution, that's good. So then where does your humanity come from?
I don't know. My general, just what I gravitate towards.
Sorry?
Just I don't know.
No, when I say humanity, I mean your body. Like, I mean, obviously there is more to humanity. There is yourself as a human being.
My flesh.
Let's start with your flesh. Where does it come from? You and you know we all look similar. We all have
What would you say?
from God, because God says, "Let us make man in our image." So He didn't make dogs in His image or trees.
Yeah, but how do you know that?
Because the Bible tells me that. And also, well, it says that if you go back to Genesis, it says, "Let us make man in our image." So He didn't.
But does that mean like literal image, or does that mean characteristics encompassing love and?
It means in every way, but we have a fallen nature. So whilst God is holy and is perfect, we are sinners. But He did say in Genesis, can you help me please? Because then I can look at it.
to help you as well to answer questions.
Huh?
He
can help to answer questions.
Because I have one at home, but I'm mobile. That's why I don't have one. Because I move about. So I'm just gonna see. Yeah, can you read from here, please?
What do I say?
26. please.
Then God said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness. Let no one bring in the fish of the sea, over land, and the earth, every creeping thing that creep on the earth.
Yeah. So we know that we are made in God's image from the Bible.
But
If you wanted to, sorry, go on.
So, but how do you know that's literal? Like, because man is limitations. We have needs. We have, we have needs, and God surely isn't subjected to needs. So that's why I think we're not made in literal image of God. I think it's an aspect of, like, what makes us human in terms of our love, compassion, empathy. That's what I
So
think.
where else does that come from?
From the Creator, yeah.
So okay, you acknowledge that something about us comes from the Creator. So would you say that a dog is like God or a tree?
In what sense?
Well, in the image of God, in terms of holistically, in terms of physically, in terms of mind.
Nothing is like God.
No, but we are similar to God. So
But I mean, okay, so I think
we're not like God at all, by the way, but we are made in His image, but we have a full-length image. So we are.
so. Is that literally we look like God?
The image of God is a righteousness, the characteristics of embodied around God's own kingdom, which is His laws, His statutes, His virtues. That's what it is. So God is a spirit, so I can't look like a spirit. Yeah. Image doesn't refer to flesh. It means the characteristics of who God is in His nature. But even though in those characteristics, God exercised the freedom of choice. Because we were made in the image of God, which is correct. A man was made to reflect who God was, who God is. That was what Adam was.
That's my answer.
Yes.
But
Well, the whole purpose of man created being is to worship God, is to live in communion with God. So man, if you notice in Genesis, Adam never hid from God before. He heard the voice of God. God walked with Adam in the cool of the day. So man was not made to be independent of the Creator. God made man, and man was pleased with His creation. But because of sin, we moved away from God. And that curse has brought us further and further away from God. So Christ had to die to redeem us back to Him. That's the only way, by the shedding of blood, the redemption of man comes. That's why Jesus had to die, rose from the dead, to give us that hope. Without that hope, we do.
So thank you. So if you go back to that verse, for example, it says, so when it says to make God in our image, can you see that it says that let man have dominion over fish of the sea, over all the birds, over cattle, over the earth, and over every creeping thing. So would you agree, right, whether it's morally right or wrong, and there is definitely problems with farming of chickens and cows, but would you agree that that's a fact? We have dominion over nature, over animals.
yeah,
That's what's our name.
So that's ordained by God. Huh?
we're the only creature that has free will.
You could say that. I mean, I think animals do have free will to some extent, but they're not like us. So yeah, we have some sort of consciousness, but you see, that was written thousands of years ago, right? And that is true. The fact that we are dominant, and why we're dominant, because that's how God created us. But because sin entered the world, we live in a sinful world. I mean, would you agree, from your objective perspective, you're talking about objectivity, that this world is fallen? Is it fair that people are dying, starving, children are getting raped?
You have to come out of it. You've only got one person
Would
in.
you
Out of it. There you go.
would you
There you
agree
go.
that there is something horribly wrong that goes on in the world all the time? There is loads of good stuff, but I would say, and yes, I mean, life is more powerful than us. We tend to life to win, but because this world is fallen, it's actually we are self-destructing ourselves. And basically, without God, you are really destructive. Not just you can never be fulfilled without God. You agree with me? You need a creator, but more important to you. You're really creative, so you don't need to be creative. But
How are you? Seems like you have a question. What is your question today?
What is she? Atheist? Muslim?
I don't know. You can answer your question if you have any question.
I don't have any. I just listened to the conversation. I thought she was a Muslim.
That's a question. How do you see yourself the next 10 years from now? Are you happy with your life? What makes your life happy? And if you recognize you're the creator, are you doing the things? Are you doing the things that the creator points you to do? And I think that's not only my feeling, but by biblical definition, we need to be at one with God because He's coming again. And He's coming to redeem those who died for, and to be back again. God created us to live a life by choice. God created us as we're part of God's great creation. Yes. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. There's only one truth. God didn't create us to challenge us. He created us out of His creation, and He was pleased with His creation. We were created to reflect who God is. Okay? By His righteousness, His laws, His statutes. He made a perfect world. He brought the man to look after us. We were not made to eat meat. We were not made to God. Man was not created to God. We were created to live forever. God made man to be dominion over things, to rule over things, but God communed with man. We violated the laws of God to make God's word. So we have wandered away from God. Now, Christ came to redeem us back to God. We are fallen beings. Through the curse of sin, we need redemption. That's why mercy and grace exists. Because we're fallen. No. Christ came. Jesus Christ. No. Who is God? Okay, who is Jesus to you? Good man, no. He's the same God. He's focused. He said before Abraham, no. If you're following the Bible, follow the Bible. The Bible cannot be in your opinion. No, never. Same God yesterday, today, and forever. The scriptures. That's not true. Sorry, let me finish.
Please, let him finish.
The scriptures of the Bible remain the same. Jesus is God. He came and died on Calvary, rose again, ascended up to the Father, and will come again to redeem us back to Himself. That's changed. No part of the Bible. The Bible can be altered into different languages, different languages of the world, but it can't change the literal word of God. No, but everybody that said Jesus died on Calvary. Earth was created. Jesus died and rose again. What is the original Bible? There are many manuscripts. The compilation of 66 books. Within these grounds, we can find what God authorized us to understand. If I should show you all the manuscript, what do God want you to follow? The one that is most important. To recognize your fallen, to recognize your existence, to recognize where you are, how to come back to Him, and how we can redeem you, and how to be prepared to see the reason when He comes. That's what you need to know. Same Jesus. Same yesterday in Revelation 12 prophecy says, Jesus says, I am the Alpha, I am the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. He's giving you a title. You're not title. You know, what did He say? Neither the one. Neither the Son. No, your Father knows. And who else knows? Okay, is Jesus the Son of God? You know, can God have a son? Yes, He can if He chooses. Jesus is the Word of God. And the Word of God is God.
Wait, he's explaining something to him. Let him explain. Don't disrupt him. Let her get what they are saying. Yeah.
So if you read in here, for example, when you read this chapter, is it long or I can read it to you? So if I read from Romans 5, from verse 12.
God bless you. God bless you.
I already got one. I think it was you.
One man, that's Adam, sin entered the world, and that was sin. And that's spread to all man, sin. The first thing is telling you that sin entered the world through Adam. So do you understand that is the biblical perspective? Yeah, so because of that, death entered the world, right? Now, nevertheless, death came from Adam's Moses, even over those who were and Adam was Adam. The chapter of him was to come. But if we give not like to friends, by one man's offense, because of what he did, even if many died, much more of the Christian God was each by the grace of one man Jesus Christ to many. And the gift is not like that which came from one of sins. The judgment which came from one offense was not like condemnation. So we all curse, but if the gift which came from many offenses is not in justice came from. For if by one man's offense that reigned in one, much more will we receive abundance of grace and of the need for righteousness who reigned in life through one Jesus Christ. Therefore, one man's offense judgment came to two man, resulting in condemnation. Even so, one man's righteous act, death of the Spirit of Jesus Christ, brings the authority to man, one life. But by one man's obedience, many were made sinners. By one man's obedience, many were made righteous. For all did not enter the defense by God, but were sin about the grace of God. As sin reigned in them, even so grace will reign in righteousness into eternal life of which Christ is Lord. That kind of gives you a snapshot of why that of God died.
What's the gist of it?
No, I'm just asking, what you heard, do you believe that by faith?
So that explains that, and it's, I know you're not a Muslim anymore, or you maybe not, but it's very good that that's the Bible says. So because of what Adam and Eve did, sin entered the world and that came, and then we're all cursed. You are born cursed, you're born unfulfilled, you're born and that's the default position, right? But it's
I think we're born cursed. I think we're born cursed because we are born in a cursed world. We are not born corrupted. We are born pure. But because of our corrupt environment.
No,
so we make our image. So there is sin and death in the fact that there is death anyway in the first place is because of sin.
Ignored.
So the reason why animals die because why animals feel so violently or why humans feel so and you can't deny that there is evilness and it is from that curse. Now that explains why Jesus Christ was died, so that if you believe in Him, supernaturally you will receive the Holy Spirit and you will be broken free from that curse.
Just have to believe.
You have to believe and truly believe, and you will receive the Holy Spirit.
You have to do the work. You have to do
No,
what
let
He
us speak
said.
to her so she can understand. Yeah.
So I want to just analyze this. That's this is the gospel that you born first, you are a sinner, but I don't know if you heard of the Ten Commandments. Yeah, all of us, not just you. I'm not. I have no idea. All of us are. Yes.
Do you lie?
It is not fair.
Do you
It
lie?
is fair.
Do you lie? Yes, where do you get the lies from? What made you lie? So where did it come from?
Well, it came from you, so it's because you have a.
No. You lie because you are descendancy of a curse.
I know, yeah.
And the curse is that, let me put it this way. Let me give you a better analogy. Say for instance, South Africa, you have a lion. And the lion has its cubs. What is the nature of a lion? To kill. Okay. Can the cub of the lion be independent of the nature of the lion? Why? Because it comes from the parents. So the animal takes the very DNA of the parent. So the cubs of the lion cannot walk around and hug hyenas. Because the cubs are the very nature of the parents. So you took on a curse because of your Adam family. From the beginning of time, that's why God had to destroy the earth. Who told you you were innocent? Who told you you were innocent? But who told you babies are innocent?
So babies are not innocent?
No, sir.
What?
No, sir. There's none of those. No, sir. Can I make sure again? In Noah's flood that you heard about, how many babies were destroyed? You don't know. You see, you can't have half truth, some truth, unless you know the whole truth. In Sodom and Gomorrah, the Bible says, and many were given into marriage and having children, but they died. If I'm born of my mom who is sinful, I take the nature of my mom. So my mom doesn't need to teach me sin. I can do sinful things by nature. Yeah. She took the very nature of her mother. The only way a baby can be sinful is if that child grows in a stage and doesn't take the moral compass of a sinful nature. That's when a child is pure.
So when did the baby go to die?
Okay, a child at 6. Yes. The baby comes from the mother, which takes from the curse.
Because of the cause.
Nature of the mom.
Can I just run this up, please? So basically, it's not just the curse as in behavior, it's also the fact that, there are babies it's unfair. Babies can have problems.
Again? Well, the scripture says that will be determined. They're not by us, but by God. But all of us from infants. That's why many people are giving up children into idol gods back in the Old Testament. We're doing a lot of stuff. The reason why God tells us, if Adam disobeyed God, Eve disobeyed God, the children of those two people were brought out into a world of sin. They committed sinful acts. Cain killed his brother Abel. That was a sinful act. So they took the nature of the very nature of the parent and were condescending into the world with the same nature. And that's what all the world got. Yeah. Jesus Christ, in the child. Not to my definition. Let's go to the Bible. The Lord justified that. Not me. Yeah. Because it took the nature of his parents. Went into the grave. No, into the grave. No. The spirit got the soul hold into purgatory, hold into a place called Hades. The soul of a man, the spirit of a man, when he dies, the flesh rottens, and the spirit goes all into Hades. In Revelation it said us, death and hell gave up the dead that were in Hades. The souls of, because remember, nobody who dies is in heaven. No person dies is in heaven. There is. So what we have to institutionalize, when anybody dies, they're in the grave.
So I want to.
The spirit goes down to hell, but that spirit is not in heaven. It's holding in place. So when Christ comes, the trumpet sound, that spirit will get back to the body and resurrect the body.
I'll give you one of that.
If the Lord comes, Jesus is the Lord and Savior, there's going to be a judgment. And from the judgment will tell them where the destination will be. So you say that you can find the destination still the potential for God. That's what the scripture says. It's not my word. He that doesn't believe in Christ and object to the of Christ.
Women make the most it's mandate
It's not the gospel to come and condemn people, but man condemn himself. Jesus told you, believe in the Son. Jesus said, if you believe in me, you shall be saved. If you choose not to believe in it, whatever God you choose to believe in, you have to take the judgment of God. So if you believe in the Father, you'll end up.
And have that as well. You share.
Share your details. Your details.
No, it's not necessarily. If you have question, email, but it's more like confession of, you know.
This year I would love to talk to you again and invite you to church as well at some point because it's good that you're open-minded. But yeah, essentially, you know, I can see that Jesus changed my life and talked about the Bible and I've explained it. You did a history about many people, they didn't investigate, you know, who wrote the Bible, but many people actually had an experience with the Holy Spirit and then they believe. So that's the gospel. It's not like, I don't know, maybe for some people they investigate, but I think a lot of people, they have this experience with God. And then they come out of darkness.
So God, okay.
It's God now. Yeah, I think it's great. And, you know, it might take you a few months, a few years, but I would say, you know, don't leave it too long because you could die tomorrow. And for many people, unfortunately, the Bible says most people go to hell. Kind of there is no excuse. So going back to the babies, you know, babies are born sinners, but I think just like, you know, the Bible says much is given, much is required. So if a baby dies, I mean, they're not going to go to hell, and so it's like a reverse. So they're still sinners, but God will have grace. But people who have it with the gospel, people who, you know, are very conscious, they know what is happening. So I would urge you to going to a church to make sure that, you know, you can stand right before God. Yeah, and this is the problem. I mean, yeah, you're conscious. I mean, I actually went to Green Pride yesterday to I don't know. And I went to a Green Pride church to challenge the people there. The thing is, this is a problem. This is like a Catholic church because we're living in the end times.
So how am I going to not continue to
churches and they will pollute the church, and it's because we're living in the end times. So it's actually very difficult to find a good church, to be honest with you. I would say the Baptist churches would be good. Perhaps Protestant churches. I wouldn't recommend the Church of England. I wouldn't recommend a Catholic church. Personally, that's my opinion. But I don't believe in ecumenism. Again, that's my personal opinion. That all Christians are the same. Because, again, Bob believes differently. But Jesus clearly stated that many people will know the Lord and I'll say that from you. There are doctrines that are medical that some churches follow. But at the same time, no church is perfect. So, you know, we're run by human beings. When you want to find the right biblical church of God's Bible, not tradition. And stuff like LGBT is satanic and it's evil. And, you know, we obviously love sinners. I don't want to demonize people, but you can't celebrate sin. Yeah, so it's because we're living in the end times. But I'm glad you were able to recognize it because unfortunately many Muslims will say, oh, you see, your church is LGBT, but that's not true. We're not, it's an infiltration from Satan. Yeah. So if you want to, you know, I'll be happy. Maybe you want to think about it, but if you see me again, I'll be happy to take you to church. And I'll be happy.
Why don't you pray together before you go?
But did you have any other questions? Or, because I don't want to keep it too long.
You don't want to pray together before you leave? You can pray. You can pray together before you leave.
Yeah. Thank you.